Hey everybody, it is time once again for another exciting episode of the Chelada Boys. And this week, we're going to get you all warm and cozy and ready for the Thanksgiving festivities with your family. Enjoy. Hey everybody, it is your boy Dylan.
This is Posh.
And
What's
we
up?
are the Chelada Boys.
Yes, we are.
And we are back again, and we're back now. We are back now.
It's official.
Okay, so we had a few weeks, then there was a week we were on, and then another week we were off, and now we are back.
Every week.
Pasharoni and cheese.
Man, good
What's
to see
up,
you.
brother? How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been getting ready for Thanksgiving just like everybody else.
The Thanksgiving. The giving of thanks. It is a time of year where you are thankful for the things that are given.
Yes.
Where we
Trying
give
to-
thanks. Now, if you listen closely, you can hear one of the things that I'm very thankful for. Let's just give it a second. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's Zeke upstairs crying right now. He's just,
Being a little fussy today.
he's playing the game is what he's doing.
Well, how old is he now? He's about a month and a half, almost
He is 2 months and 4 days
2 months and 4 days.
playing the game, but he is like,
figuring it
he's a
out.
kid who's ahead of the schedule. He is, he's already like bigger than most 2 months olds, and smart, man. He already knows how to manipulate you.
They
He's
learn
like-
that shit quick.
Yeah, like he's fine if daddy's like packing him around and like patting his back and telling you my boy. He loves it. As soon as you set him down, something's wrong, daddy.
Yeah, you ain't holding me no more.
Something wrong, daddy. You need to pick me up.
I don't feel the love no more.
Yeah. Oh, you hate me, huh, daddy? You piece of shit. No. But yeah, he's picking it up quick, so he knows how to play the game. He'll be. It's one like a little parenting tip for you. If your kid's fed and he's burped, he or she, diapers changed, everything's good, he's crying, there ain't nothing wrong with that baby.
They just
Usually. Sometimes there is. But about 90% of the time, there ain't nothing wrong with that baby. They just want to be held and packed and catered to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it, then you wind up like my friend Posh here.
You got baby on you at all times.
Yeah. You have a detachable but not really detachable sidekick that doesn't want to be
Yeah, she doesn't stray more than 4 feet away.
but I tell you what, we're heading that direction. Because when I get in from work, I'm like, I miss him. I'm like, my boy. I want love on my baby. And then I'll hold him, and then I'll give him a bath, and then I'll like feed him and change his diaper, and I'll pack him around and pat his back and get his burps out, and he's just all cozy and stuff. And then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna hold on to him for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't want to let him go.
I think it started with me letting Luna fall asleep on my chest.
Mm-hmm.
I would just hold her while she fell asleep, and then I didn't have the heart to move her. So she just like got that bond, and now
Yeah.
she's like, that's the only way I'm going to sleep.
It's
on
kind
top
of like
you."
sleeping with a fan on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You sleep with a fan on long enough, if somebody turns off that fan, you're gonna be like, "Hey, man, who turned the fucking fan off?" When you pack around with Daddy, and he's like patting you to sleep in the comfort of Daddy's bosom, and then you're like, "I can't sleep if you put me down, big guy.
Yeah.
So don't put me down."
Big guy.
Yeah,
You just got back from Connecticut.
I did.
How was that?
It was all right. Got this from Connecticut. This is actually purchased in Connecticut.
It's funny, when you were in Connecticut, I watched a documentary, and it was about a guy who like dominated the Eastern Trash Company, basically the Northeastern Trash Company, and he was connected to the mob.
The
And
craziest fucking documentaries can suck you in, dude.
it really did.
I love documentaries.
It was called the Danbury Trashers. It's about a hockey team that this mobster basically bought for his 17-year-old son, and it was one level below NHL. And he was like, "We're gonna be the bad boys of hockey." He's like,
Oh,
we're gonna like convert my two favorite things, which is wrestling and Mighty Ducks, together." And they created just a goon squad that went on to like fucking dominate the season by just beating the hell out of people.
Did they win? Did they
They
win?
won
it
a
all?
lot, and then they took it all the way. They only lasted for like 1 year because the FBI was investigating the owner, and turns out he was connected to the mob. And
Of course he was.
yeah, but
Northeast.
Northeast. He was in Connecticut.
You're a mobster.
It was in Connecticut.
Is it Connecticut?
Yeah,
Where
it was
at in Connecticut?
Danbury, Connecticut.
Danbury, Connecticut. I was in Hartford and Farmington. That's where I was at in Connecticut. So if you're from Hartford or Farmington or surrounding areas, shout out. First time ever having Nardelli's, and I love that place.
What'd you say it was called? Ardelli's?
Nardelli's. Nardelli's. They make subs, and they've got like this big giant display of like these different cooked meats or cold meats in front of you. Like, and you just pick out what you want, and they'll put whatever you want on it. I ate there probably 3 times.
That sounds good.
In 5 days.
Damn.
It was delicious.
So they got all your money.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got all of my company's money because I had one of those.
Oh, they give you a per diem or something to eat?
Well, they gave me a company credit card, and I used that for like my Uber and like when I ate and my hotel and my plane tickets and stuff, but that was it.
Nice.
I didn't really do much else. You can gambling is legal in Connecticut, so I downloaded this gambling app on my phone, and I gambled some college basketball and pro basketball. Hit a 25-team parlay. Hit it.
Damn. How much did you win?
I bet $20. I won $193.
That's a pretty damn good day.
Let's go. All I really did was pick the teams that I didn't think there was any way they would lose. And I picked 25, and the max you could pick was 25. Otherwise, I would have picked more. And it hit.
Damn, son. That's nice.
Yeah.
I bet you we should put like 200 on
I
it.
was like, man, if I put my whole check on that, I'd be sitting fat right now.
Yeah. Living real good.
Yeah, if I'd have put 250 on it, that would have been over $2,000.
Man, that would have been a fucking come up. That would have been really good to come home with.
Yes.
Like, damn.
Yeah, I went up to Connecticut and got paid. I got paid. But it was all right. I mean, I came out ahead. It was fun.
Was it cold?
Not too bad. Not no more than it was here, really. There was a couple days, like in the morning, like I'd go out and hit my little vape pen, and it was kind of cold. But on Thursday, it was like 63 degrees.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
And I was like, damn, this is all right. Plus, it's beautiful in Connecticut.
Yeah, you got like that. You went at a good time. I bet fall. It probably was wrapping the fall
February,
colors
it would have
up.
been fucking garbage.
Yeah, it would have sucked.
But I went in like the 1st of November, like mid-November.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad. It could have been bad, but this year it was just kind of decent. There's a lot of Dominican Republicans up there. Like, well, from my experience, like I said, I took Uber everywhere. So whenever I got in when I got in the Uber, a lot of them were listening to Hispanic music.
Right.
And, I talk a little bit Spanish, and I was like, buenos dias, good morning and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And they're like, buenos dias, that's kind of basic shit. So they kind of just thought,
Buenos dias, where you going?
Buenos dias, where we don't really know. Like, I mean, their GPS was even in Spanish. And then, like, I hit them with some, like, ¿Cuántos años tú vives aquí? And they're like, oh, shit.
This motherfucker knows some shit.
All right.
Yeah.
Which means, how many years have you lived here? And they're like, 3 años, ¿cuántos años, or whatever. And I'm like,
13, 14.
Yeah. ¿Tú tienes niños? And they're like, tell me how many kids they have. And I'm like, ¿cuántos años? And ask them how old they are. And then I'm like, yo sé un poco español, pero no sé todo. Which means I know a little bit of Spanish, but I don't know everything. And they're like, sí, pero es bueno. And I'm like, thank you.
So they know what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
Good,
Yeah, I'm hitting them with some Spanish. And they're talking to me. They're like, why are you here? And I'm like, yo soy here por trabajo.
For work.
Yeah. Uno
Trabajo.
solo 6 días. Ya me voy para Kentucky. And like, I'm only here for 5 days, and then I'm going to Kentucky. I don't want to keep talking to you in Spanish. But there was a lot of Dominican Republicans up there. I don't know what it is about Connecticut.
Somebody just moved up there from the Dominican Republic and sent word back home like, yo, this place is the shit.
They need drivers.
Yeah, and everybody's like, bet.
Shit, we can drive.
Yeah. I knew the Trabajo because I used to work on an avocado farm in Southern California.
I remember you telling me about that.
And that little Mexican dude, that was like his mantra, dude. He would be like, no cerveza, no trabajo. So if you didn't bring beer, he wasn't going to work for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He would come pick avocados for us, but we had to give him a 30-pack.
Mexicans love beer.
They'll drink beer
Guilty
and
also.
work you under the table.
Oh, my God. Won't hit a water.
Yeah. All day.
Drink 20 beers and sweat and
it's
put
like,
out 5 times the work as the next man.
Yeah.
and then eat like a damn ham sandwich with mayo and jalapenos on it and be fine.
Wash it down with 6 more beers.
Yeah.
And go back to work.
Get up the next day and be fine.
Yeah. No hangovers.
That's one thing I've never understood. Like, my mom was married to a Mexican, and I watched them do it every fucking day. They'd get off work, and it's beer from the time off to the time you go to bed. It's beer. And then they'll drink like 3 or 4 waters throughout the day at work. And they're just fine. Like,
they're a different breed, dude.
Outwork anybody.
Their livers are made of iron.
I guess, bro.
That's
I need a
insane.
Mexican liver and a Mexican stomach because I love spicy food, and my little white boy stomach just don't fucking.
Yeah. My lining is like
It doesn't
coming
handle
loose.
it well. Yeah, I fucking hate it, dude, because I love spicy food. Love it.
Same.
I love the way that it like just tastes, and I love that little heat on your tongue. You know what I'm saying?
Where you almost feel like you made a bad decision, but you're still happy about it.
But it's like enjoy. It's like a.
Fuck, that's awesome.
I don't know. It's like a fetish. It
Yeah, it
hurts,
is weird.
but you love
Yeah.
it. It's like, yeah, keep doing it to me, daddy.
That pain.
Anything new going on in the pastoroni world?
No, man, nothing
No?
new.
Same old.
Just like I said, getting ready for Thanksgiving.
Which is, we're recording this podcast on Wednesday.
Yeah, day before.
Because Thursday is when we usually record, but Thursday this week is Thanksgiving. So we're recording on Wednesday, me and my boy Posh. And we're going to let you know right now, this is going to be the last week for a while that we do Drinking Dad's Beers. We're going to do Drinking Dad's Beers on this episode, but it's going to be a while because Posh and I are getting a little health conscious. We're both 30 years old, and we're just getting a little health conscious.
The way I look at it, man, is I spent my 20s raising hell, drinking beer, smoking weed, just making good stories that I'd be able to tell one day. And I'm past my 20s now. Like you said, we're both 30. So I'm starting to look at life as like, what else is there? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like I've
right.
done the last 10 years, I've been partying my ass off. I think now it's time to just find something else in life. And I'm going to start with fitness. I'm going to start trying to just get my body to like prime workout, just looking good, feeling good.
Like I told you earlier today, like once you get your health, once your health becomes a priority, I feel like everything else just kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
And once you've developed that that mental discipline that it requires to really take care of your body, everything else is just like incomparable. Because the hardest thing to do is, okay, it's not really that hard to make yourself get up and like work out. And working out doesn't have to be like we were doing that in 2019, where it was like just fucking balls to the wall workout. We're busting ass.
Puddles of sweat.
Yeah. You just go out and walk a trail or walk for 20 minutes. That's working out. That's efficient. That's sufficient, I should say.
Yeah.
The hardest part is the diet.
100%. I think that it's 30% workout and 70% diet, if not more. It could be 80-20. Diet is the hardest thing because
I would say 80-20 is more accurate.
you have to like destroy habits that you've had since you were maybe 13, 14 years old or even longer.
And you got to continuously be conscious of those.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's a habit. It's so easy to like get into the habit and say, well, I'm going to grab this bag of Doritos, or I'm going to eat a couple cakes or something, like a little Christmas tree cake.
Take
or
this
something.
Coca-Cola back to the room
Yeah.
and a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
It's
And
easy,
not
but-
even think about it.
Yep.
Sometimes you do that. Sometimes you're halfway through a bag and a Coke and you're like, oh, shit, I'm supposed to be not doing this anymore.
I haven't walked for shit today or
Yeah.
worked out or tried to do a push-up one.
One thing about
Yeah.
that I noticed whenever we were really like taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, you sent me that picture today. It just broke my heart.
Yeah, same. I saw whenever I saw your picture, right beside it was the picture that I took of myself because we took them at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, man, you were doing so much fucking better than you are right now.
Yeah.
But whenever you're in the middle of that, you're really not that hungry often. You don't need much sleep. I don't know what it is about exerting your body to that extent at a continuous, like, period, consistent time. But you don't need that much. Like, I was getting 5-6 hours of sleep every night and feeling better than I do now when I sleep 9.
It's like your body goes into rest mode quicker. Like it knows it has repairs to do and stuff. So when you do finally go to sleep and break down,
more
your
efficient.
body is fully resting and
Yeah.
like doing everything it needs to recuperate. So when you do wake up, you're just like you're full of energy.
Like,
That's
I'll
how it was
sleep
with
8
me.
or 9 hours now, and, like, whenever my alarm clock goes off, I'm like, oh, But when we were doing that, I'd go to bed and like get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and as soon as I opened my eyes, it was like, boom, let's get it.
Yeah.
Just not that. I'm so far back from where we were at that time.
Yeah, we were in good shape.
It's achievable again.
Yeah, we can get there.
You got to start somewhere.
We're gonna hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
These pork chops in a bottle have to go.
Love them. That's my thing. I don't get plastered, don't get drunk or anything. I do sometimes. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's usually like on a weekend or something.
Yeah.
But every now and then, I like to come home from work, especially if I have like a stressful day or something, and like drink 3 or 4 beers and just wind down. And like after about the 3rd or 4th, it's time to get you a shower, lay down, and get you a good night's rest.
Yep.
Seems like it helps, but you don't need it.
Yeah.
You can find better coping methods and
do yoga. Do yoga instead of drinking beer.
You know, the first thought in my mind when you said that,
what?
And I think this is just like a tell of where I'm at right now. When you said do yoga, I was like, fuck that. There's a first thought that popped into my head. Fuck that.
That sounds terrible.
Fuck that. Do yoga? Bro, I'm going to sit on the couch, watch a little bit of like sports highlight, and smack me a Corona or two. And then I'm going to sleep good.
You know what's crazy, though, is these people have been doing yoga for years, like the first yoga movement in America. These people are like 75, 80 now, and their blood pressure is the same as like 20-year-olds and shit. Like they're super healthy. It's clearly good for you.
Right.
So, yeah, man, it's just we're getting to the point where we know what it's like to drink beer. We know what it feels like to wake up hungover. You know,
that's something that like
it's a feeling I'm all too familiar with.
I learned the hard way. That's one of my biggest problems. Yep. I learned the hard way because there was a point in time where I was like getting drunk, like on a Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
Cannot do it. 3 or 4 beers maximum. 4 is almost like pushing it. If I drink 5 or 6, the next day I'm gonna wake up and I'm like, I think I'll throw up. I don't feel good. You know, I need something to help me. But if I don't drink at all, it's a lot better, obviously. But if I drink 2 or 3 or 4, then I'm all right. But I just need to get away from that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need it. I'm not like, if I don't have it, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to have the shakes or the bends. That's what they call it, right? When you're an alcoholic.
Yeah, your tongue's going to swell up. You're going to be sweating
right?
as
They
shit.
call it the bends?
No, the bends is when you come
That's when you come up from water too
fast. Yeah, too depths.
Rickets.
Too high.
That's what they call it. Rickets.
Shaking and...
Yeah.
You can die from alcohol withdrawals, but I don't think neither of us are that bad off. Like you said, we drink Thursdays and occasional weekends. I'll get fucked up. I'd probably get drunk this Thursday, though, because it's Thanksgiving. So,
yeah. That's kind of like... I'm giving myself this Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, and I was talking to Chelsea about that, and like shout out to Chelsea, she's been dieting already, and she's doing well with it. Like she's just like been consistent with it, so like I'm proud of her for doing that.
Well, it's good that you're both on the same page. When
Right, that's another thing. Yeah, like if you're doing this with like, and you have a partner and they're not, and they're like not, and I've probably made it harder on her because I've been like, I'm eating whatever I want. And she's still sticking with it. That's not easy to do.
Not at all. Because if I'm trying to diet and Michaela's eating a bag of chips next to me, I'm mad.
I
am fucking
furious. You don't care nothing about me.
I'm like, why did you even buy that shit? Like, we've been talking about it. And, you know, you can't force somebody else to do it with you.
Right.
As much as you want it to happen.
Another thing, you can't force yourself to do it. Really. You can't do it until you're ready to do it.
But I'm blessed. Michaela also wants to work out and start eating right. So we're on the same
And Chelsea's there too. So the best thing for me to do is just to like hop on board now. And like I come across this TikTok of this dude fucking who does Murph every day. He's trying to do it every day for a year. And he's on day like 187 of doing Murph every day.
He is shredded.
Shredded.
Fucking jacked.
Straight like abs only. Like, I mean... He's shredded.
Just big walking muscle.
For those of you that don't know Murph, you put on a 45-pound vest, you run a mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats, and then run another mile. So all of this with that vest on.
A really hard day. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, if he's doing it every day.
He's doing it every day.
He's probably at the point now where he's just, like, breezing through it. Like, it's just like, yep. Another Tuesday.
I don't know if you can ever get to the point where you breeze through that.
Right.
But it's still challenging. I have no doubt that's still challenging.
Yeah.
But we've rambled on enough about some shit. Now, whenever I don't know if you guys, so we did get the last episode actually uploaded on the podcast platforms, but it was on YouTube.
Right.
So if you did get to watch it on YouTube or listen to it on YouTube, then you know that we talking about Christopher Columbus this week.
Yes.
Now, that was kind of my own educated fault, because whenever I thought about Christopher Columbus, I thought about the origin of Thanksgiving.
Not the same.
Which is not the same.
It was 200 years later.
It is 130 years later, but, still a long fucking time. So Posh did some research on Christopher Columbus.
I did.
I did a little research on the origin of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of hit you with both of those.
Okay, cool.
And maybe hopefully that'll make for a good podcast. Like we can kind of give you the base of what led toward the origin of Thanksgiving. I know a little bit about Christopher Columbus. 1942 sailed the ocean blue, and he landed. He thought he was looking for India, and
what he was trying to do was he was trying to go around the world, because the passage from Europe to Asia was so treacherous and full of enemies and different armies and stuff.
And they had like barricades set up around it because there was a tax, right? There was something.
Yeah.
There was a tax.
You couldn't trade through there without getting robbed or gooned up by somebody. So his idea was, I'm going to sail around the world and come to the other side, the other coast,
hit the
of
west
Asia,
side of
hit the
India.
west side, and cruise through that way. Well, one mistake he made was he drastically underestimated the size of the Earth. He thought the Earth was much smaller than it actually was. So it kind of fucked up his compass and the way that he was going, and what he ended up doing was he landed in the Bahamas, what we now consider the Bahamas. And he thought it was India, which is what they called Asia back then. And
then he ran up on some Indians.
Yeah, what he mislabeled, and we still to this day
mislabel
them, which is kind of fucked. But so that first trip, man, like I said, he was looking for that way around the world to get to Asia's goodies, and it didn't work out for him, but it still impacted mankind greatly. He was the first to find a viable route to the New World. So he's not the first to get there, because they say 500 years before that, Leif Erikson made the trip, and even a couple hundred years before that, a Chinese sailor by Zheng Fu,
What'd you call
me? He made the trip even before Leif Erikson and made tales of reaching a new land, the Americas, basically. But so that's one credit we give him. That I don't know. He didn't necessarily discover the Americas, but he did discover a viable path to the Americas from the old world to the new. So that's something we can give him credit for. And when you think about it, just because the Nords have been there and the Chinese have been there doesn't mean that the Spaniards know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's still new to the Spaniards. So Christopher Columbus, in his own right, for the region that he was in, Italy, Spain, nobody knows what his actual origin is, who he actually was. They say he's an Italian person, but a lot of ties go back to him being from Spain. And he found the Bahamas. And when he got there, first thing he did was he knelt down on the ground and he thanked God for a safe voyage. And around that time, the natives came out and started showering with gifts of, clothes or whatever, weapons.
That's one thing that's consistent with both of these stories, is how welcoming the
very
natives
welcome.
were, and how like willing they were to help you thrive in the area.
Yeah.
Because what they believed was that the entire earth was ours and it was just borrowed. And the time that we had, which is pretty fucking accurate right now, and will always be. But the land is borrowed, and what we're doing here is just borrowed time on this spot. So they want to see you succeed and do well, and make sure that everybody's just having a fucking good time.
They were thinking about humans. They weren't thinking about
Can
flag.
you
They
imagine?
weren't thinking about a country or expanding borders or colonizing or anything like that. They were just thinking about being better humans and making a better world,
Right.
which is admirable. But obviously, the history books don't put in the part where, Christopher Columbus really fucked their shit up and depleted the natives by 90%.
Right.
So he gets there, right? They're showering, they're exchanging gifts. Columbus notices that some of the natives are wearing jewelry, gold jewelry. He's, you got any more of this? And, they give him a little amount of gold. What he does is he takes one of the boats. Something happened. They go to the first place. They meet up. They sail around.
I'm
they
listening, by the way.
They go to Hispaniola, which is another island in the Caribbean. Yeah. They land there, but they shipwreck. One of the boats crashes. So what they do is they don't have all the ships to get all the men back home. So they build a fort out of the remains of one of the ship that wrecked. And they leave 39 men behind in Hispaniola as he returns back to the Queen to show what he brought. And what he brought back was slaves. He brought some people back to show what the indigenous people look like. He brought a small amount of gold back. He brought back plants and fruits and vegetables that, the world has never seen before. The old world had never seen before. Goes back, they're happy with his discovery, and they're like, go ahead and send back. And he exaggerated the amount of gold there. He's like, I think there's going to be, a shit ton of gold here. So they're like, okay, go on back and find your gold. Well, he goes back. When he gets back to Hispaniola, all his men, all 39 men there, are dead. And the fort is burned to the ground. Obviously, he's not happy about that. He asks what happened, and the chief tells him that his men were raping women and just doing whatever they pleased, and the islanders thought that they were gods when they first saw them because they've never seen men with white skin and blue eyes and stuff like that before, so they thought they were gods. That's why they're showering them with gifts and being so hospitable. Well, when Columbus left, those 39 men went on to act like some devils, and the chief was like, no gods would act like this. We have to get rid of them. So killed all 39 men and burnt the fort down. Columbus comes back and takes revenge, starts going after the one tribe that did that the most and hacking them up, killing them, selling girls into sex slavery at like age 9. It was like as young as he went. And then he enslaved the people and made them work in his gold mines and to mine golds. And if they didn't come back with like a 25-pound sack of gold within 3 months, he would like hack off limbs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he would cut off like arms and shit. So he wasn't a nice guy. He definitely opened up a new venue for the old world, and obviously they're going to see him as a hero, but when you flop to the other side of the story and you think about it from the Native Americans aspect, he was an asshole.
Right.
This guy came over here, started killing people, and his only lust was for gold
evil.
and conquer for Spain. Yeah, he was just a bad person.
He brought these fucking evil fuckers over here. Fucking. And
fuckers.
They started fucking raping and pillaging. And we're supposed to just be cool with it?
And we're supposed to... Okay, so one thing that we do is...
Why is that the first thought?
We look at history with our modern era consciousness and go, that's wrong. This is this. When you go back to 1492, things that, bothered people now didn't bother them then. So, like, what we consider as inhumane and shit like that might not have been that schedule. So it's hard to judge past eras with a modern era mindset.
Right.
But that's not the case with Columbus, because even then he got jailed. What happened was the word got back to what he was doing in this new land, and they called Columbus back, brought him back in chains, sent him to jail, and had him plead his case. And he was just saying, this is just how we have to do it.
Lied.
Yeah,
probably.
He lied his way through. And what the king and queen at that time did was they sent a royal advisor over to see what was going on and see what was happening. But at the end of the day, Columbus lied and got away with it. They didn't do anything to him.
There probably wasn't a real defendant to
yeah, and I think his accomplishments outweighed what
do
they
they call
considered his accomplishment outweighed his misconduct.
Okay, so when you're in jail, you're the defendant, and then you are being What is? Okay, so you're the defendant, and there's the accuser. What's the name of that?
The plaintiff?
I guess you're the plaintiff.
Yeah. I think whoever is at fault is, I don't know, man. I should know because I've been to court a bunch, but
Like when the county attorney is like,
you shouldn't have
trying to get you sent to jail.
Yeah.
What is that called? What is that position called?
Prosecutor.
There probably wasn't like a legitimate prosecutor because
Yeah, I don't think that the Caribbean islands got a fair.
they didn't have a lawyer.
Yeah, nobody showed up in defense for
You're
them.
due in
so
court at 2:00.
It was basically
May
Columbus's
13th.
word against nobody's.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's basically what happened. He ended up making 4 trips in his lifespan. The first one being in 1492, then 1493, and then 15. No, I think the last one was 1499 and then 1502. And then he died in 1506, and he died with his secrets. His sons were trying.
14 years after he landed in the Bahamas, he died.
He died. Some people say he was poisoned. Some people he just died from gout. That's
Was he kind of young? Was he like 50?
Nah, he was old because he was born in 1451, and he died in 1506. So I don't know. I suck at ass and math.
55?
He was 55, which back then was probably pretty old. You know, at 1492, you lived at 55. That's a full life.
True. That is a pretty lengthy life for where the scale of like medicinal practice probably was. Like still they were probably like, yeah, you got some demons, you should do coke about it.
But another accomplishment. So I will say that Christopher Columbus was very much an asshole. He was like when it comes to the way he treated the natives.
Yeah.
Like I said, 90% of the population in that area, because he ran expeditions in the Caribbeans, South America, and Central America, and depleted the native population by 90%, and also put foothold. Yeah. And put foothold.
That's genocide.
That is 100% genocide. And put foothold in places for the Spanish to be able to come over and do the Spanish conquistador.
Yeah.
And they killed the Mayans and the Aztecs and all that. So, I mean, like all the way up into Mexico, they were just like wiping people out and making their own.
That's what led to the
path.
Spanish Indian War, right?
Yep. And
in the 1800s.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like it really did alter the course of mankind.
Fucking 500 years later. Yeah, holy shit.
But something he did was he opened food trade routes, which I think goes. It doesn't get noticed and recognized enough that, you know, on the European side, everybody was eating a Mediterranean diet, like we talked about earlier.
Right.
Well, when they got here, they, you know, discovered cotton and tobacco and potatoes and stuff like that they don't have over in Europe. Yeah. So they started trading food back and forth.
Corn? Was corn a thing in Europe?
I think corn was a thing in Europe, but I don't think it was as well grown as it is. Yeah, as abundant as it is here. And he opened those trades, and what that did was it moved food all around the globe, and they were able to plant potatoes in Europe and stuff like that and harvest new crops, and it doubled the
You're welcome, Russia.
Doubled the world's population by that food within 200 years.
I guess by the density of like nutrients and
just
like,
everything. Yeah, it was just a whole new food source that opened up to the world in that region that had never been there before. So it doubled the population, probably the biggest spike in population. Yeah. Potatoes, corn, avocados, everything, all that shit that you can get over here on the West
Imagine
Side.
the first bite of a jalapeno. The motherfuckers was like, they trying to kill me.
Yeah,
this is poison.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers is hard. Yeah, you know their little Mediterranean stomachs couldn't handle that.
Look, a poop.
Ow,
I gotta take a spicy poop.
I need some flax seeds.
Posh and I are gonna take a pee break. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chelada boys have returned. So, yeah, that's a lot of shit about Columbus that I honestly didn't know. I think my problem is, and the reason that I had the confusion between, because honestly, I thought the whole Thanksgiving thing happened around the time that
Columbus landed.
Columbus landed.
Yeah, he never actually made it to North America.
Yeah,
which is where
I know that.
Which
now.
is a lot of Americans think that he probably landed in South Carolina somewhere and just no, he landed in the Bahamas, and then worked his way over to one of the times he went to Jamaica, which was probably pretty awesome. Went to Jamaica. The islanders there greeted him. He talked, and he was pestering them about gold like he had done so many before. And they were getting kind of annoyed with it, so they stopped feeding them. They stopped feeding Columbus's crew. So
fuck yeah,
this was a pretty funny move that Columbus made, and I tip my hat to him on this one. He looked at his almanac and he realized that there was a lunar eclipse that was going to happen soon. So he told the islanders, he said, "Your gods are going to show you a sign that they are displeased with you for not feeding our men and helping us in our conquest for gold." And sure enough, a couple days later, the eclipse of the moon happened, and they all started feeding them, bringing them shit.
It's funny that they didn't know like the cycle of the moon by then.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one thing that the Spaniards were just a little bit more ahead of the world in, was like almanacs, horse riding, certain things that the technologies at the time, they were just ahead, so they could, they were just a little bit smarter in that sense, so they could play it in their favor.
Didn't I don't want to say we because I'm not Spanish, or I'm sure I'm European something,
yeah.
But didn't Europe introduce horses to North America?
Yeah, riding horses. It came from the Spanish, Europe, that area. So the conquistadors, they were known for their horse riding, and they had the newest technology as far as like saddles and stirrups and stuff like that goes. So it wasn't a thing in North America until the Spanish came to ride horses.
And then the Indians dominated that.
And they got real good at it. Yeah.
We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna do our last drinking dad's beers for a little while.
Yeah.
But this is a segment we like to call Drinking Dad's Beers.
Drinking Dad's Beers! You've always been drinking my beer again.
Thank you.
And this week, we have a beer from Goose Island. This is called the Lost Palate. This is a hazy IPA with mango and natural cinnamon flavor. Brewed and packaged by Goose Island Beer Company in Chicago, Illinois, Baldwinsville, New York, and Fort Collins, Colorado.
What's up, Alec? Quit shooting people. Ooh, too soon.
This is the can right here.
It's very orange.
It's orange. Got the goose. It says Lost Palate.
Fucking. Have you ever ran into a goose before?
In my car.
No, like just ever been around.
Oh,
a goose.
they're hostile.
Terrifying. Smells goosey.
Decent.
Smells like a cooked goose.
It's not bad.
Ooh,
It's not bad.
whoa, that's got a strong initial.
Well, I
smack
think
to
after
tongue.
the Corona Lights,
very citrusy.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like, what's the percentage on these bad boys? I feel like that would fuck you up pretty right.
I don't see. Oh, 6.3.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah,
That'll do it.
that's about right.
I'll
That's
get
about
you
right. Knock you on your fucking eyes.
I'm trying to think of a score. I think I got
It's a good. It's not real harsh.
No.
It's real calm on the palate.
It's a lost palate.
It is.
You got a number?
I do.
I do too.
What you got?
I'm going to go 7-4.
I was gonna go 7.
Man, we do that a lot.
I was gonna go 7.5.
All right.
Oh my god.
So fucking flip a coin? I don't have one. I don't have
I
money.
don't either. I don't have money. All right. So either of these sides,
Okay.
then it is 7.5.
Okay.
Any of the descriptive sides, 7.4. 7.5.
7.5. All right.
We can go
That's
7.5.
7.5.
That's good. That's good.
It's a good beer.
That's crazy, man. We always do that shit though.
Yeah. But that was the last one for a while, guys. We're gonna try to be serious about our health.
Take care of ourselves.
It's gonna be drinking mom's water for for the next couple.
Drinking mom's tea.
So, yeah, I'm excited to take this journey, man. Not be
I am too.
a big fat.
I am
slobby
too. I'm
fuck.
excited for the journey. Kinda. I'm excited for the results that are within the journey.
Yeah.
And once those results start to show themselves, then I'll be
Even more like
I'll be way more into it.
ready to pump.
Once I put on a shirt that doesn't fit, that fits all of a sudden, then you won't be able to tell me nothing about health. I like to be like, yeah, no, I'm not eating that. I'm not drinking that. I'm taking care of myself now.
Yeah.
So something that I saw on another podcast is called the FRDI show or FRDI podcast that kind of like it was funny to me, but you're younger right now than you are right now.
Shit.
You're younger right now than you are right now.
Yeah. Every second goes by, you get.
You're younger now than you are now.
Yeah.
That's not. That kind of fucks with the domes, bro.
Yeah.
You're younger now than you are now.
Yeah. Every second that goes by, you get older. An endless marching of
You're
time
younger
to an
now than you
inevitable
will
death.
ever be again.
Yeah. That's true. That is true.
So now that we're depressed,
But with modern science, it's not crazy to think
True.
I can't live to be 200, 300 years old.
I think that's a little far fetched right now.
Yeah, that was quote
But-
from Talladega Nights.
I think that I feel confident that I'll live to my 70s.
I do, as long as, no buses come
Yeah.
out of left field.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
all right, we're just like taking into consideration. No, like naturally you die.
Yeah, from natural causes.
I think 70 and 80 is like very, 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 very possible.
I think that the partying I did in my 20s probably took a good 10, 15 years off my what would be natural life.
But I think that is recoverable
I
Now.
could probably get 7 of those
Now.
years back
out of the 10.
out of the 10. I could maybe get 7. No, 7 if I did 15. Probably like 4 if I did 10. So,
You think?
yeah.
Because it takes. I think. All right. If I'm not mistaken, I think if you quit smoking, which now listen, I want to say this. Vaping is not good,
No.
but
Better than.
it's better than smoking fucking cigarettes.
And baby steps, motherfucker.
Right.
Baby steps.
Right.
We're
But this right here, I think compared to smoking is probably 40%,
yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
So it's not good, but it's not as bad.
We've been
And that's
throwing
like,
out throwing around a lot of percentages this episode.
you know. But I think like this is a good way to stop smoking cigarettes. This is easier to put down, I think, than cigarettes.
Definitely.
Uh,
This is the same one I had last week, so I mean,
this is the same one.
if
I
this
had
was a
last
pack
week.
of cigarettes, this
But
would
this
be my
one
third
isn't.
pack
This one
since
died.
last- Oh, did it? Damn it. That one tastes good. That's that watermelon.
It took a little hit off of it, but yeah, it about did.
Oh, also, one last thing about Columbus. When
Okay.
he was doing the food trade, bringing things back and forth, one thing he also brought from the old world to the new world was diseases, including syphilis, typhoid, malaria, whooping cough, fucking all kinds of smallpox. Dude brought
Contributed probably to the 90% wipeout of the other.
He's the reason
tribe.
coronavirus exists now. Bastard.
Thanks, Columbus.
Yeah. Fucking, 700 years later.
Now I got you. This is another shout out to the FRDI show.
Okay. I have to watch them. I don't think I've seen
Check them out. Well, I haven't actually listened to their podcast, but I see them on TikTok a lot. And they're funny, man. They're funny guys. You ought to check them out. Seriously, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Now the things that they're saying that I'm bringing up, I don't think they came up with. I think that they found out somewhere on the line. But whatever, this is where I seen it, so check them out. FRDI show or podcast or something like that. Would you rather?
Uh-oh. Fuck.
Would you rather piss out a marble or shit out a bowling ball?
Oh, God. I mean, that's equal when you're looking at the holes.
Yeah.
That's pretty equal. I'm going to go with piss out a marble.
Same.
Yeah, I'd rather
But
piss
they
out a
said
marble.
shit out of fucking bowling ball.
I mean, the relief when you finally got the release on that would be amazing. Would be amazing when you finally cut loose.
release
Just-
on the bowling ball
Yeah.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Ka-dum.
I think peeing out a marble is just a little. We're gonna be. Just
I think I could work that out easier.
slightly. Yeah.
Like you got like
I'll
part of the
jack that one
you got
off.
you got part of the tunnel in your hand
Yeah.
where you're shitting out the marble. All you got is the exit. That is
Yeah.
it. The end.
I can kind of, work
And
it.
it's like this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
And you got to get a bowling ball out of that bitch.
yeah.
Where the marble, I mean, the hole is also like this, and you got to like
Yeah.
in your back.
Yeah. It's just gonna stretch out and then boom right back.
It's
But,
gonna hurt.
You should
Like
add a
you're
bowling
gonna piss like 8 ounces at a time,
bro.
for
You
a minute.
shit out a bowling ball. Your every fart is gonna sound like a yawn. Fucking every poop from there on out is just gonna walk out.
Sound like it's gonna sound like you just like blew up a balloon and just let it go.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with
Piss out a marble.
piss out a marble.
I think so too.
Yeah. It's gonna hurt either way.
Yeah, none of them's gonna be
Yeah,
good,
none of that's a walk in the park. So.
bro. I'm buzzing. All right.
Well, you just smashed like 3 beers in front of me in that
True.
little, like 20 minutes that we were jabber jawing.
I did. What? I feel like we're blurrier than we were.
We might be. I
Do you
don't know.
think?
Yeah, we definitely are now.
Um,
Are we paused?
no.
Oh, we're still up. Okay. But yeah, man, Columbus was a D-hole. Definitely a dick that will go down in history. I mean, obviously went down in history. It's a huge part of the American culture and Spanish culture that we praise Christopher Columbus, but we have to give praise where praise is due and go, he wasn't necessarily a humanitarian in this act.
Right.
There's certain things that he did that were just unacceptable on any standard throughout time, especially to people who were being so nice to you, right? Like, you came, they gave you a bunch of gifts, you left, your homies fucked shit up, they disciplined them accordingly.
Did not apologize for it.
Disciplined them accordingly, and then you came and gave the wrath of God on them for no reason other than just defending their women and their homeland.
They're like, oh shit, they're raping and pillaging. Let's stop that. Like, how dare you stop that?
Right, yeah. Where do you get the
Piece of
nads
shits.
to stop my dudes from raping your wives?
Okay.
You bastards.
So, fuck Christopher Columbus.
You can eat a dick.
I think we should rename that holiday. We need to, like, have they taken down the statue of him yet? It will happen. If it hasn't,
yeah.
it will happen soon.
They will never do that in Spain because he is like the person that found the new
You
world
think
for
never?
Spain. Never.
You think never?
Maybe an eon from now.
It'll be a while.
Maybe
I'll agree with
another-
that.
Another like
I will
1,000
agree with that.
years,
It'll be
yeah.
a long time because it's like kind of what the Spanish have going for them right now.
Well, if you think about it, when you're in that time frame, first of all, I like to think about this. How scary would it have been to been on one of those ships and Columbus leading, thinking the world was 4 times smaller than it actually was, and then you find out, because the week.
I mean, it was a brave venture.
It took
you
5
You
weeks.
can't take that away.
It took 5 weeks from the old world to the new to get there.
5 weeks?
They projected it would take 2. So for 3 weeks, all
2
those
weeks
men,
later,
yeah,
you're in the middle of the ocean.
middle of the ocean. People are probably thinking about mutiny. People are probably like, "Fuck this guy. We're gonna throw him overboard.
You
And just
think?
go back home."
Okay, well, think about this. 4 weeks in, you're still only seeing ocean.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
4 weeks, 3 days in, you're still only seeing
4
ocean.
weeks, 5 days in,
Yeah.
6 days in, you're still only seeing ocean.
Yeah.
About halfway through the 6th day, you're like,
Well, they saw a light.
is that?
They saw a light flickering. And I guess it must have been like a massive fire or something. I don't know what it could have been. But they saw a light flickering, and they changed their course towards that light, and that's when they hit the Caribbeans. So, and once again, he sucked ass at geography, dude. Like, he was no good at it. It's very embarrassing that
Listen,
he just...
embarrassing?
Yeah.
Embarrassing? You let me lead a ship from Spain. We're going to end up back in Spain 6 months later.
Yeah, I'll be at the Horn of Africa.
Yeah.
I feel like, fuck, I took a left where I
We're
should
going to
have
be in
went
Antarctica.
straight.
It's going to be nothing but penguins and ice, and you're like, where the fuck are we?
Yeah.
If I was leading that expedition, it would be America would still be like 100% Indians.
Which,
Native Americans. Sorry.
yeah, come on now. But
Washington football team. Sorry.
you were talking about renaming Columbus Day, and some states have already done that. They name it Native American Day. They've gone to what are you doing? Oh, you're looking at the pit sweat. Leave me alone.
Stop.
You ain't gonna call me out like that.
If you want to see it, check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, I am a sweaty bitch. No, but he definitely did some fricked up shit, man. He fucked some people.
So what did they rename it?
Native American
Indigenous
Day.
Peoples
Just
Day?
Indigenous People, Native Americans Day,
Okay.
stuff like that. Which I think rightfully there should be.
Agree.
There should at least be like a Native American week where we all just
I agree.
take a moment and reflect and go.
Yeah,
"Fuck,
while
we're-"
we're on this topic, if there's like, okay, it's Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
If you're feeling like very thankful, especially, find like a Native American charity to donate to.
That'd be awesome.
Something that you
That'd be
you can
really
find.
cool.
Like do a little research and find that. Make sure that 100% of the proceeds
Because
go to the-
poverty and alcoholism the remaining
Is
part.
huge.
It's huge. It's like 60-something%, over half
Yeah.
of the male population. I saw a documentary where this dude was drinking like hairspray to get drunk.
Yeah.
Like it was that bad.
Well, the thing is, like the big misconception is that like the Indians have the casinos, they're doing good. No, it's not all Indians.
Yeah, and
It's not true.
like that's enough to pay back what millions of people
for the
dying.
genocide that we committed on their people.
The Trail of Tears is still one of the like most heart-wrenching things that ever happened in history, and we're like, yeah, well, you can gamble and not have to pay any taxes on it. Yeah, okay, but still, like thousands of people.
How many people
fucking
died
Millions
for
of
that?
people died. So yeah,
Find an Indian or indigenous Native American charity to donate to make sure if you're going to donate, make sure that 100% of the proceeds go to Native Americans.
it's going to the right place.
And donate to them.
Yeah.
$20, fucking $10, whatever. Just throw a little something, whatever you got a little extra to then throw it, especially in this time of year.
Yeah, and
if
the year
you've got a
we've
little
had,
extra money,
help them out.
help them out.
'Cause
It's
like I
the
said-
least we could do. Now, I know we didn't do it. I know personally us, but it's still something that even fucking 700 years later, they're still like,
Somebody is going to have to pay that bill. It might as well just be us now while we know that,
Right.
what happened was wrong. We're here now. Everything is the way that it is because of what happened, but maybe we can give back a little bit of what we've been able to accomplish and say, you know what, it wasn't right of us to take this. It wasn't right of us to do this. Here's this back. I don't
Even
think
if you
any
think-
donation's going to be...
even if you think, well, I only have $1 to give, that's not going to be enough. If 1,000 people think that, and 1,000 of them give $1, then that's $1,000.
Yeah.
If 1,000 people think that $5 isn't going to be enough, and they all give that, then that's $5,000. So just give what you can give, and just
Help them out. Show that
we didn't do it, but our ancestors did. So just hook them up a little bit.
we're here because of what happened.
Right.
So-
America wouldn't be what it is today without the kindness that the indigenous people, the Native Americans, showed us on those days, and then we proceeded not.
to take advantage
I keep
of.
saying we because I don't feel like I would do that.
But when you grow up in that time, when
Right.
you grow up in that era, it
Right.
might have just been like, these fucking savages,
normal,
bro,
yeah.
don't know shit about nothing. We're just going to take what they have because they don't value it anyways. That's the
They don't
mindset
value
that
the
they
same
had.
God that
Yeah.
I do, so they're wrong. That is still a problem in America
There
today.
was no political correctness back then. So,
Right. If you got something to give it.
yeah. If there was new land
If not,
that,
don't worry yourself about it. I mean,
that Queen and Country hadn't had yet, it was ours to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were going to fucking take it anyways. And that's normal for humans in migration patterns and starting civilizations that rise and fall. Like, if you look at America right now, we're in every fucking country but, like, 3.
Got a base everywhere.
Got a base everywhere. We are mobile anywhere. We're like the world police, and it's kind of fucked up, man, because I feel like people can govern themselves. You know what I'm saying? Whatever region you're in, whatever your traditions are, you should be able to govern those yourself.
Right, and it's
We'll
not
do our
just
thing.
because this is what we believe doesn't mean we should impose those beliefs on other people.
Yeah, you're humans too. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe.
Yeah.
Fucking,
And if they all agree with what they believe and we show up and we don't agree with what they all believe, doesn't mean that we should fucking impose our beliefs on them. Like fucking we're what is the Joan of Arc? What was that?
I don't know.
The
Joan of Arc.
Christian crusade, the Crusades.
Oh, the Crusaders, just the
Where it's like, do you believe in Jesus? No. Well, you believe in Jesus now? No. Well, then we're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
That's just.
They're just trying to weed out the non-believers.
We're free
and
Americans. Do you
indoctrinating
believe
the
what we
entire-
believe? No. We're gonna kill you because we're free.
You're unpatriotic and you're a piece of shit, commie bastard. It's just, I don't know, man. It's people nowadays. We're in the information age. Everybody gets new information. They change their fucking. They change their minds so quick, and they change their beliefs so quick. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, you got to be, especially in the age we're in now.
It just seems like
where
everything's arguable.
So much facts.
Everything is just
100%.
Everything now is just arguable, and people expressing
Well,
discontent.
there's always my side and your side.
Mm-hmm. Same with Columbus. There's here you go.
It's just human nature.
Yeah, the
human
Europeans to go. We're in the right for finding new land and bringing new exports and imports into our country, and expanding Europe. And then there's the other side that's going. We've been here for a millennia, living our lives. And
we
you guys
enjoy
show
living
up
off
and
the
now-
land
yeah.
and just like living our lives freely and eating what we can get from nature. And
we looked at them and went, "Pfft, stupid bitches.
we need production and we need to all have
stone
jobs
houses
and
you
need
to work.
Wi-Fi and fucking YouTube. you can't do that.
Yeah.
And now we're in the cell that we're in now with like the comfort that we've been given is our cell that we live in.
Man, speaking of comfort that we've been given, somebody said something. I was watching a comedian the other day, and he was talking about what first world problems are. And, some lady like spoke up and was like, I'm an animals activist, like I believe in animal rights. And he's like, well, that's good. And he's like, what animals do you like? She's like, all of them. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's sweet. He's like, yeah. And she's like, they all have lives. He's like, yeah, they do, but they don't all need lives. He's like, it's like, do you think a polar bear gives a fuck about you? Like, he was looking at you like, oh, Tuesday, she's got a badminton class. I should probably just sit over here and drink a Coca-Cola with my nephews. And
it's almost Christmas time.
But as Americans, we take things for granted. There's parts of the country who have never seen clean water, and we go home and take a shit in cleaner water than they've ever seen.
Then they drink.
Yeah.
After we've shit in it.
It's still cleaner than what they've seen. So, I mean, we as Americans, I don't think that we
for the most part
as Americans, I think that we have a responsibility to help the people who want to be helped. If there's a country asking America going, how do we get to at least a fraction of what you're at to where
like
we
Liberia,
have like Liberia, where we have an economy and running sewage systems and lights and a power grid and that kind of stuff, then we should go over there and help them. But if there's a country that's just like, we don't want shit to do with you and we're doing fine, fuck them. Move on. Go do your thing. That's fine. If you guys come knocking on this door looking for trouble, you're going to fucking find it.
Now, I agree with the fact that we need to take care of our own first.
Exactly.
We need to make sure that all American, if we're going to segregate it about countries, then I think all Americans, based on our government, need to be housed, clothed, fed, educated.
And some sort of Medicare.
And some kind of health.
Yeah.
Before we decide to branch out and do these other things. Now, if we're going to be humanitarian about it, then why are we going to these other countries and starting wars to do this shit?
Yeah, we should be starting think tanks and groups that brainstorm on figuring out the world's problems.
We need to send
dropping bombs on people.
The military, and which they are in some cases. You got to pee?
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
In some cases, we're like helping build their economies and like build their education systems and stuff, which we should do, but it shouldn't always be like we need to dominate first,
Right.
and then we can do this for you.
Right.
We're gonna take a break real quick. Let Posh go pee, and we'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
And we're back.
Nice.
All right. Good little pee break for both of us.
Chilly out there.
A little nipply out in the Kentucky.
All right.
Cold weather.
So now that we've talked about that, let's talk a little bit about what kind of like led to Thanksgiving.
Why we celebrate Thanksgiving.
Okay, so in the 1600s, there were a group of people in England called like the Separatists.
Okay.
And they did not like the fact that they had to be a part of the English church.
Right.
And like it was super strict. Like if you didn't live by what they like, there were laws against disagreeing with the English church.
Shit.
So they left and went to Holland, I think it was. And Holland was a little too progressive for them. So
It's still very progressive.
right, it was a little too progressive for them. So they decided to like make their trek toward America.
The New World.
The New World. So they made the trek from, I guess, Holland then toward America. Now, I know where they landed.
Where'd they land?
Fucking hell.
I thought you said you knew.
I do, but I know where they landed, but
Philadelphia.
I just don't know where they, like the distance from where they wanted to land.
Oh, they made
Okay. So they wanted to land in. That's not that far. They were aiming for the Hudson River,
Okay.
and they landed in Cape Cod.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Y'all did all right
Yeah,
for not having GPS.
right. That's not too bad. But when they left, it was September.
Ooh, shit.
It was a 2-month ride.
Ooh, shit. Get here in November. Cold.
I don't know if you've ever been to Connecticut or Massachusetts in November, December / it's cold.
Yeah.
And when they landed, they didn't take into account the fact that it would be the way that it was. So they were struggling. Well, a lot of them actually died.
I imagine.
And then the Indians saw their struggles, right? And they started to help them. They showed them how to grow their grains and their crops and the stuff in the way that they did throughout the seasons. You know, they lived there. They knew the lay of the land and how it worked. Well, once they did that, they celebrated in the spring whenever they survived. Well, that's when they started to actually grow their crops and stuff. And then toward the fall, in between November and December, it was whenever they celebrated in 1621, which was apparently, supposedly, if you look up right now when the first Thanksgiving was, it'll say 1621.
Okay.
The fucking Plymouth Rock.
Oh, Plymouth Rock. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And whenever the Pilgrims were celebrating the fact that they had lived through that and they had plenty of food to get them through the winter and all that stuff, they were celebrating. Now, these Pilgrims or Separatists were Christian. Now, Thanksgiving in Christianity at that time was known as you're not eating. It's a fast. You're giving thanks the whole time. Yeah, you're not actually eating.
Cool.
But they did have a feast to celebrate the fact that they had lived and they had grown enough to get them through.
They made it through spring and summer with growing, and they were able to harvest.
Right.
Now we
And
can
they're
enjoy
they're
a meal.
they're out here eating their food and they're shooting off guns and all this stuff in this Indian tribe, the Panawa. I think there were Panawa or the Pantois. I think that's right. Came to see what was going on because they heard the gunfire. And whenever the
Natives?
Pilgrims.
Oh,
we'll
the
call
Pilgrim.
them.
Okay, yeah.
When the Pilgrims met them and saw, that they were just kind of like trying to investigate what was going on, they were like, they told them what was going on and stuff. And thankfully, they had Squanto was an Indian who actually was kidnapped because there were already Britons that had lived in the New World.
Right.
You say Columbus landed in 1492. That had already progressed in that 130-year span up through the East Coast.
Work their way up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Squanto was actually kidnapped and sold into slavery in Europe and learned English and found his way back and became free again. And Squanto had told, he was kind of like the translator between the Pilgrims and the
natives.
Patois.
Yeah. Which later translate to pantry, which is what you put your food in. No, I'm just kidding. That's one of the things.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was true. I was like, oh, shit. This motherfucker knows. But
could be. Shit,
he had maybe.
Might be.
He translated for them, like, we're celebrating the fact that we had lived through the winter thanks to your all's help, and, like, how we need to plant our crops. And there's three sisters. I can't remember that. The three sisters of...
What was it? They plant a fish head below, like a foot below where they planted the seed, and then that fish head's proteins would help grow the corn.
The three sisters, corn, beans, and squash.
That's their names?
Or the three sisters. The Iroquois people, corn, beans, and squash are the three sisters, the physical and spiritual sustainers of life. These life supporter plants were given to the people.
Imagine being named Squash. That would suck.
Well, that's the name of a plant still.
Can Squash come out and play?
That's the name of a plant now.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying somebody was named Corn,
Name is
Bean, and
Squash.
Squash.
They taught them how to grow their shit, whatever.
Somebody
Now,
go
like,
get the sides.
They told Squanto that they were celebrating the fact that they were still alive and they grew enough shit to live.
You guys are named after sides. Can't even be the main course.
Well, the three sisters, that's what they were like, the plants that they grew together.
My sister
to help them
Corn, she
sustain.
is very tall and blonde. My sister Beans, very gassy.
Very dark and thick.
And
My sister Squash, she's flat.
she's a big bitch. She'll squash anything she sits on.
So they told Squanto what was going on, and he translated it toward the Native Americans, and they were like, "Cool, hell yeah, we're glad.
We're glad you
Let's
made it."
celebrate." And sometime in the fall of 1621, they all celebrated together, and that's kind of where like schools cut off the story. They're like, we've got to where the Pilgrims and the Indians celebrated together.
That's the happy ending right there.
That's
Done.
it. That's where they stopped the story.
Lying
Well, that was
bitches.
fine, and Squanto had helped to create an agreeable treaty between the two,
Right.
to where, like I was saying before, that the Indians agreed that the land was everyone's. It wasn't like this belongs to us and this belongs
Right,
to
you guys are
There
here
were no
now,
borders.
welcome.
It was like, this is borrowed land from us and this is borrowed land for you, and we can all live here harmoniously together because we're all only here for a certain extent of time.
Right.
So it's not going to be like a certain like permanent boundary that we all live by.
That's what they thought.
They thought.
That's what you thought.
All right. Well,
I'm just kidding.
donate to the Indians.
Yeah.
And it was like that for 3 days. They had a celebration where they ate. The Indians brought they brought deer and like foxes and fish and other things to eat with it, with the crops that the Pilgrims were celebrating with.
I don't know if you've ever ate venison before, but it's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. It is a great lean meat if you're definitely trying to be in the healthy phase.
If you
and
overcook it, it tastes like fucking liver.
yeah, you can't overcook it. It's a fickle bitch because it's so gamey. But man, if you get it right, it's delicious. Very good.
But more English people came over, and or British, I guess, whatever you want to call them, came over,
Europeans.
and they did not agree with
The treaty.
the treaty that Squanto had agreed upon with the Pilgrims and the Indians. Well, in the meantime of all this stuff, the Pilgrims were still kidnapping Native Americans and sending them over to Europe for slavery.
Bitches.
The whole time. And whenever they came over here, they looked at them as slaves. They didn't look at them as equals. They looked at them like, we're better than you. Well, they were having something that still goes on today, the green corn celebration, which is like the celebration of like a harvest, Indians just celebrate everything, which is very fucking admirable.
Yeah, something you can look up to.
Every small little accomplishment is...
They appreciated life.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, just to think about like how the way that they lived life, if we adapted their lifestyle compared to ours, then we would probably be a lot happier.
We might not be as technologically advanced, but we would all be living really good.
Another thing that we brought whenever we came is, like you said, with Columbus. We brought sickness, and it wiped out 80 or 90% of the population, from 80,000 of the Indians from the Pacquiao, I think, to 1,500.
Damn. Decimated them.
Or 8,000 to 1,500. One of the two. But still a giant, portion of them.
That's a lot.
It's basically genocide just from sickness.
Yeah.
And whenever the other Europeans came over, they looked at them, like I said, like they were slaves, like they weren't equals. They, over here in the homeland, we sell you. You're not our equals. So
hard labor from here on out.
Whenever they came up on the celebration of the green corn celebration in 1639, I think it was when the green corn massacre happened, and they basically killed them all.
Damn it. And why did they do that? Just
so
they
that
didn't
they could
agree
take over.
with
They didn't agree with what they were doing.
Territory.
They'd take over the territory. And it's something that would, this is one of the things that echo throughout centuries. Mm-hmm. This is one of the reasons that we should still contribute to the Indian
rebuilding, and
they've got lands that are these are Indian only, and they've got 2 states south of North Dakota that they
they dominate in.
They dominate, but that's nothing compared to the fact
entire
that they
country.
owned the whole country, and we're like, here's 2 states. Just shut up.
And a couple casinos.
Yeah.
Take what you get.
So I think that in due time, I don't think you should tell your 7 or 8 year old that, that's not the way it happened. We actually murdered them all, and we should. But I don't think you should tell them then, but I think once they're 14, 15 or so, you should probably tell them the real truth of what happened with Thanksgiving, because it wasn't until 1789, whenever George Washington became president, that it was actually made a national holiday. And whenever he made the Thanksgiving Treaty, or the Thanksgiving, what was it called? Something. The Thanksgiving something. He never mentioned the Indians. It was just white people get together and celebrate.
We bit the hand that fed us.
Yeah.
We bit the hand that fed us.
And then in the mid-1800s, whenever Abraham Lincoln was president, he made it a national holiday that every last Thursday of November would be Thanksgiving. And this was in the midst of the Civil War. And he was hoping that it would, bring people together, in the midst of this giant war that we were having. And maybe that we would have a day or a week or so of peace that would kind of die things down a bit. And then I think FDR was the one who, in the Great Depression, made it the 4th Thursday of November.
4th or 3rd? 3rd.
4th.
Was it 4th?
4th Thursday of every November. That was, which is essentially the same. I don't know how rare it is, but there may not be very many. I don't know, but I don't think there's very many 5th Thursdays in November. Mm-hmm. But he made it that because it was in the midst of the Depression, and he wanted to give people time to shop for Christmas to boost the economy in the midst of the Great Depression.
Okay.
And that was the whole reason behind that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So once again, we're assholes.
Bro, we got to answer for so much shit that we, like, personally didn't do.
Yeah. I mean, but also we grew up in the specs that we grow up in now. If you look at the society that we grew up in, we've actually had time to sit back and reflect on how we got here, what happened to get here. And now's the time to feel guilty about certain things.
But I don't see how you don't feel guilty about just
an entire
killing
race.
people because you don't agree.
Yeah.
I don't see how in your life, like, I don't care what, like, time
what era you were in.
I guess because you become desensitized to it.
It's just the way the world was for so long.
Because I think about the Mongolians, like the way that they just went through like fucking village after village and raped and pillaged and killed everything.
The Crusaders.
Because they became desensitized to it. Like you say, the Crusaders. And in America, the majority of people who are religious are Christians.
Yeah.
And the only reason that became a fact is because of the Crusaders.
Yeah.
The Crusaders went all throughout Europe, and they said, "Are you a Christian?" No. Okay. Well, will you become a Christian? No. Okay. Well, we're going to kill you.
Dead.
Oh, okay. If we leave you alive, you'll become a Christian? All right. Stay alive. Mm-hmm. You have to come to church every Sunday. You have to go to Bible study every Wednesday. You have to recite all the things that are in the Bible. If you don't know something that I'll tell you that's from the Bible and I asked you a question about it, I'm going to kill you.
It's a pretty strong incentive to learn the Bible.
Yeah.
I would be like, shit.
I'm Christian as fuck.
Yeah, I need to start studying. Y'all got one of them Bibles I can get?
But I think the this is kind of off topic, but I think the depletion of Christianity is because we are in the information age. Uh-huh. If you look at things, you look at religions, and then you look at other religions, and you look at older religions, and you look at the comparison between the religions and the similarities in them, and you think about, okay, well, this kind of sounds like the story of Muhammad, or this kind of sounds like the story of Jesus, or this kind of sounds like the story of Buddha. But there's also this religion that was 6,000 years before that with the same story, but different names.
Yep.
What's going on here?
It's human tradition passed down and changed into something that can be modified for the time. Yeah. It's just something that is easier for us to grasp. Oh, we don't go off stone calendars and sacrificings and beheadings and killing virgins anymore. So now it's this. This is what we call it now.
You say Hail Marys and...
Yeah, we just pray about it now. Whereas before we used to go and cut people's heads off about it.
Yeah.
So...
sacrifices.
It takes a lot of time for shit to actually... for that dust to clear, for shit to settle after the chaos.
I think religion is harder for you the more open-minded you are.
Yeah.
I think if you're open-minded about how things could be or should be or would be, and then you do a little bit of studying yourself and finding out, like I said, the similarities between religions in the same stories, but they just happen to have different names.
I think that, honestly, man, it's the grand message that people should be following. The big picture is what everybody should be looking at.
Right.
Whereas the devil is in the details. And when you get into religion and you start getting into the details, that's where the ugly starts showing itself. That's where people start to go, well, you know, my brother's gay, and if he's going to go to hell for being the way that he is or being this or,
there's gay, like for the example that you're using, gay people,
they've existed forever.
Forever. And you can look at someone and know that they're gay. You can talk to someone and know that they're gay. It's not a fucking front. They're not putting it on and like...
It's just how they are.
It's just this guy likes guys. What does that have to do with you?
Yeah, or your religion.
Yeah.
Nothing. It has nothing to do with it. And it's not your soul. So, like, when you look at it, and I understand that the premise of Christianity is to spread the word.
You're supposed to bring everybody to Jesus.
Bring everyone to Jesus and try your hardest to get everybody to Jesus, but... You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's the truest saying in the world. Okay, if somebody doesn't want to accept that as their religion, you have no right to enforce
their truth is not your truth.
Yeah, it doesn't work for them.
Your belief is in your mind.
Yeah.
What you
perceive your
believe is
reality.
reality in your mind may be a different reality to someone else, even though they believe the same religion as you. My truth in my mind is different than Posh's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're very like-minded individuals.
We're very open-minded. We both can look at something and take in new information and go, okay, well, I'll
Yeah.
change my belief
I
because
will never be set in stone
Me neither.
to what I believe.
Me neither.
I'm always open to new information to come along.
And I know there's people cringing right now at
Yeah.
at the sound of that, but you have to understand that it's different strokes for different folks. Everybody's going through tribulations and hard times in their life, and they're trying to figure out a way to make means with it and understand it.
Right.
And for some people, religion works.
Right.
For other people, my brain has way too many questions that apparently you're not allowed to ask in religion. So I look elsewhere. I look for multiple religions. I look at all religions and try to take little bits from all of them and put the grand message together.
Right.
So, and I think that's what most of us need to do. We need to stop laying in the details and going, oh, well, God mentions homosexuality being a sin.
He mentions a lot of other things in that Leviticus scripture that you're talking about.
He mentions that twice. He mentions divorce like 30-something times. And the divorce rate in America is like 75%. So most of us are...
Do you also know that
it
it says if a man rapes you, then you should marry him? Do you also know that?
If a dude rapes me, I should marry him?
Anyone.
No.
Well, I guess not guys.
Right.
But if you're a girl and a guy rapes you, you should marry him. You know that also says that in there?
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
You know, also know that you should, it mentions, it basically
You couldn't
justifies slavery
Yeah.
in the Bible also.
There's a lot of...
Do you also know that the scriptures that are written about Jesus weren't written until about 1,000 years after Jesus died?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
So nobody was alive.
Have you ever played the telephone game in school
Yeah.
to where your teacher tells a secret to the first student?
Mm-hmm.
You got 32 students in class. And that secret makes it all the way to the end of the class, and it's a whole complete different story.
Different thing. Like it started out with Barney wears pink underwear, and it gets back to Batman isn't actually Bruce Wayne. You're just like, what the
Exactly.
Like, what happened in translation?
It was over 1,000 years after Jesus died. That
The example
the
you're
Gospels
making
were
is
written.
through 32 people, the information can get totally disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what will happen over thousands of years.
Let me. Okay, so I'm going to start a story. Now, you and I, Posh, we're best friends, and I tell Mason that about this one time that me and Posh were playing cornhole, and we were down a point, and Posh sunk a hole right there.
Right.
This is just like a random fucking top of the mind.
Right.
Story.
This has happened, though. No, I'm just kidding.
Posh sunk a hole, and he won the game for us. All right. By the time
The people's champ.
Mason's grandkids are telling the story about Posh being good at cornhole,
Yeah.
it's that Posh shot 20 games and never missed a shot.
Yeah, it was all the way like just burning fools up.
Yeah.
There wasn't. They just kept throwing me the bags back because I couldn't miss.
Yeah.
Like everything gets exaggerated. It's the fishing story. You
Right.
go out with your friend, you catch a fish that's fucking 6 pounds and a foot long, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, look at
And then
that!"
it was
big
a
ass
7-pounder.
And then
and
yeah,
a
10
foot-
years later,
13
it's
inches, and then
10
it was
pounds and foot and a half long, and then you know
Yeah.
by the time you're on your deathbed, that fish was 80 pounds and the size of the Pinta Santa Maria. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're just taking into a fact that human error will not account for anything.
we always
which
have to
isn't
account
true.
human error, and history is told by the winner. It's told by whoever won. So your history always has two sides. Always has two sides. One side gets light shined on it, the other side does not. And it's based on who wins.
I don't know how we got on the topic of religion, but whatever your religion is, I guarantee you that the God of your religion had a son who came to earth and did something, and that is
Probably preached love.
preach love. Hey, that's one thing
That's the biggest
about
message.
Christianity, Muslim, Islamic religion, whatever. That I think the premise of religion, and another thing, beyond the premise of religion, I think the comfort that it gives people is important on death.
Yeah.
If somebody truly, wholeheartedly believes in their heart that their religion is true and that they've lived their life right, when they die, there's no discomfort because they believe that when they're dying,
they're going to the next
let
place.
me also say this: when I die, I don't know what happens. I don't know.
You know what gave me great
Don't know.
What gave me great confidence here lately as to what happens when you die was you shared on Facebook the Hubble telescope's picture of that little black spot in space, and they zoomed as far in as they could, and you saw
Let it sit there for like 4 months.
and they saw so many constellations, huge galaxies that could have tens of thousands,
Trillions
of
of stars each.
Yeah, in each galaxy. What that tells me is the universe is forever expanding.
Mm-hmm.
That when you leave, you will move with the universe and expand to the next place.
That's
and
one
if you
thing
don't,
that makes I sound like a hippie when I say it, but I think we're all collectively God in one experience, one consciousness experiencing itself.
Yeah.
Because traditionally, people, when you talk to them about what is God, they like to say that God is something that has always been and always will be.
Yeah.
But whenever you try to like wrap your mind around the fact of always has been,
There's never been a time where it
Always.
wasn't.
always,
Yeah. It's a mind fuck.
always,
That's a-
how long
There's no measurement
before
of time.
before the figure of something else became a thing? Always.
Time for that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as time. Time is a relative
Time
concept.
is a human construct.
Yeah, it's a relative concept. It's relative to us because we're here on Earth and we go around the sun in 365 days, and we break it down into 12 months, and it has its uses for sure
For us.
for us. But that's not it for the
But-
cosmos. That's not the rule of thumb for everything.
Days are different on every planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just our planet.
Mm-hmm.
24
Mars,
hours,
which is the closest
which
planet
is a
to us.
measurable time, and each of which is a measurable time. It's so much more than you fucking think, than you can comprehend.
We don't even have a sliver of what it actually is.
No.
We're still very
I still can't wrap my mind around the slither experiment or the slit experiment.
the one with where they were filming the
where they shot particles through a single slit
uh-huh.
and then a double slit, the double slit experiment, that's what it's called. And the particles reacted a certain way when they were paying attention, and then they reacted differently when
they were
they
being
weren't
filmed,
paying
yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
No one, scientists don't even know.
It's baffled.
You ask a scientist, and they're like, "Well, if you can explain that, then there's a Nobel Peace Prize waiting on you right now because
Yeah. Nobody else. Can
there's
do it.
not a mind in our observable existence that knows what the fuck that means."
Yeah. It's impossible to fathom. When I think about space, when I think about like forever, your mind can get like lost in this loop where you're just like, fuck, dude, like, what do you mean it never ends? It almost sounds terrifying.
It never ends.
Yeah, there's never a time of not. But what I think really happens is the universe expands and then collapses and then expands and collapses like an accordion.
Like a lung.
And when that happens, everything that we've ever done in our life from the moment we're born to die continuously
So do you
repeats.
think that we're on an expansion now? Like we'll take a lung for example, because it's something comprehensible. So you think we're on an expansion right now, and then the exhale will cause the collapse of our universe and everything in between.
Everything.
If you look in the human body between the atoms and the cells and the fucking blood vessels and everything else, it all interacts like a universe.
If you look at the way the tree grows and the way lungs have capillaries
Yeah.
inside of them and stuff like that. The tree branches represent a lung very well, and to what a lung does and how it spreads out and takes in oxygen and then moves it to the blood.
And like a carrot, you cut it down, it looks like an eye, but
Yeah.
carrots are good for your eyes.
Man, the world's a trip.
It is crazy.
It's all intelligently designed. I'm not saying there's not.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying
I
there's
think
not.
there is a higher being,
100% something that.
but I
made
think
this.
that is incomprehensible for me to understand
I
what
don't-
that is.
Yeah, I can't sit
And I
here and
do
say it's a
not-
bearded guy in the sky with a sword.
I don't think that it's one religion. I think that all religions collectively have something that is some truth.
Yeah, that's ominous.
And I'm saying,
Being an ominous.
I'm not saying that all major religions. I'm saying all religions. I'm saying like southeastern African fucking village tribes who worship the sun and two mountains
Yeah.
probably have something that is probably some truth to it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something you can find that is a fact, and you can go, yep, they're right. This part is right.
Yeah.
Everything else can be completely wrong, but this part is right, and you have to be able to dissect that as a person and go, this is the point that. And what I think it all comes down to is the grand message of doing more for others than you do for yourself.
And you know how to be a
Helping
good
people.
human.
Yeah,
There's something in you
every soul in the
that
universe
you know
knows right from
when
wrong.
you do something right, you know it's right.
Yeah.
But for you to look at one certain religion and say, I know that's wrong and I know I'm right, I think it's so closed-minded that it's just not realistic.
And then you can take that word of being closed-minded or reluctant or whatever you want to call it, and you can flip it and make it sound more appetizing for people and say, it's faith. You have to have
If you don't
faith.
believe, you're going to go to hell, or you're going to go to hell.
You could go that, but it's just literally like when you get to those questions that make you go, and, stump you a little bit, that's when people always chime in with, you just got to have faith. You just got to believe.
That's
faith.
one thing that
That's a lazy way out, in my
struggle
opinion.
with all religions is you can't question it.
That's-
You have to just believe.
I got questions that need to be answered.
I've
man.
never
Like,
actually...
can't dive in head
what
first.
gets me that I still believe that there's a God or something, I've never heard people say God spoke to me and I did this, and God never spoke to you. He never audibly spoke to you. But I've been doing things in my life that were intervened with before to even keep me alive. That I've noticed, that I've seen, that like this could have went way array and this could have went way worse, but there's something that protected me, and that's what keeps me believing in some form of deity that is intervening.
Right. A higher power.
But to say that you know
Who it is or what it is, you can
Is
put
a
your
lie.
thumb on it.
Is a
That's-
lie.
Yeah. I agree with that completely. My mind is always open for new information. If Jesus came down
if
tomorrow,
Jesus came out of the clouds
right.
and was like, I am the Son of God and all this stuff, and then it would be 100% without a doubt belief.
Yeah.
So why does it have to be
what-
for example, like we're Americans, so Christianity is the thing, especially in like southeastern America. Christianity. That's why we keep like basing our topic off of it. But why does the Bible have to be such a mystery? And why do you have to interpret it in such a way that if you're wrong, you're going to go to hell? And why is it so hard to interpret?
I think if you're reaching for strands in your religion, if you're looking for an answer and your religion hasn't provided it for you, and you're reaching for strands and trying to make things out of stuff that's not there, then you need to look elsewhere. You can't just fully put your faith in one person's depiction of what the world is. You have to go out there and do it. That's the same thing with like the way the world is right now. I think people should stop letting their screens, their TVs doing their traveling for them.
Right.
I think you should go out and travel and see the world, because they're going to paint the bad picture every time, make you scared, make you buy shit, make you fucking go into this trance where everything's out to get me, everything's bad, fucking blah, blah, blah. Go out into the world. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to people that you've never talked to before. Embrace a new group.
That's another thing, yeah. Like our media,
yeah.
it makes you think that your next human is against you.
And it's not the
But
case.
just go out and experience humanity.
Turn that TV off.
They're a
Go
lot.
out
They're a
and-
lot nicer than you fucking think.
100%. I bet they would almost invite you over for a Thanksgiving plate. Not
Now-
everyone's going to be that way.
Right.
Not everyone's
You
going to
can't
be a great
expect
person.
everyone
Yeah.
to be that way.
But
The majority,
yeah,
yeah, they
good
are.
people. Good people.
Now, let me ask you like a closing question, and I'll answer this question myself. If you were to correlate yourself with a certain religion, which one would it be?
Probably Christianity, just
Christianity.
because it's the one I'm most familiar with. But I also like what Buddhism preaches. I really do think that Buddhism has like a certain message to it, and the way that it's constructed allows people to still be free in their thinking.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't just like confine them to this little box and say this is the way you got to think, this is the way it is.
Right.
Live this way all the way till you die.
That's
and
one
then
thing I like about other
you'll get
religions.
to the next
is
place.
like the freedom of belief, the freedom of like this is the set and this is kind of how we believe, but you're also welcome to have your own experience.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I agree with, and like you say that about Buddhism, I feel that way about Hinduism.
Mm-hmm.
Hinduism, I feel like if I were to, I'm not a Hindu. I'm not like a Hinduist.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the belief that the better that you do in life, if there is an afterlife that projects you into another life, I think what's it called? Reincarnation?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a possibility. But in Hinduism, you're all leading toward nirvana.
Right. You're going to
It's
get
where
to
you're
a
like
place where...
the ultimate peace.
Yeah.
Let me say it this way. I like the idea of the fact that the better that you are as a human, the more progressive that you become in the spiritual life.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a good human in this life and I just treat people good, which I feel like is an easy thing to do.
It's not hard.
If
You have to go out of your way to be a dick.
you know when you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You kind of got to go out of your way to do it.
And there are ample opportunities in your life to not be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you can't help it. But most of the time, there are ample opportunities for you to just be good to someone. Mm-hmm. And in Hinduism, if you do that more than you do bad, then you advance. And then you advance. And then you advance. And then you finally achieve nirvana.
Yeah.
And then that's when you're like, you maintain your presence in the afterlife where you just, everything's good.
You're an all-being.
Right.
You're constant.
Now, I don't think that is like,
Set in stone.
I don't think that that's 100% what it is, but I
Right.
like the idea of Hinduism.
Yeah.
That's where I like.
It comes down to that a lot, too. Like, what you prefer to hear.
Right.
What you want to believe is what, like, it comes down to, really. And we all want to believe that there's a place better after this. And it might be the case. It might not.
You might die, and it might be it.
It might
which
be
would
the
be
end of it.
okay
Yeah.
also.
Or you might die, and when you die, you just flash back to another part in your life where you woke up from a dream or had deja vu, and now you're back in the expansion of the universe. And when you died, it collapsed for you, and now it's coming back.
Or it might all be a simulation. And we're in the
all just
Matrix.
Fake. We're just plugged into some fucking alien butts.
But this has kind of scaled off into a whole bunch of different shit.
100%.
Which I love it.
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
it, Posh.
I do,
I love talking to you about all kinds of just random
We
shit.
get in on this shit all day.
But hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
Man.
Hope you enjoyed your time with your family. If not, I hope you fucking escaped the fucking
The mundane.
weird conversations that you didn't really want to have. And I hope you.
What's up with the football game this year? They put on a shit show this year. What is it? The Bears versus the Detroit
Bears
Lions?
and the Lions, the Cowboys and the somebody, and then the Saints versus the.
So y'all just throwing a bunch of garbage cans out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But hopefully your team wins.
Yeah,
Go
if you're
Ravens.
Detroit Lions.
Go
Let's
Ravens.
get that first win.
Yeah.
Y'all tied
You
up.
got a tie.
You got a tie.
You get the win.
Come on, Detroit. I
but-
believe in y'all.
As per usual, this has been your boy Dylan.
This is Posh.
And next week, we are going to talk about the Salem witch trials. Ooh.
Good stuff.
I know
Good
it's a little
stuff.
bit past Halloween,
Fuck it.
but we're going to get a little spooky on you and talk about some witches.
Nice.
But, like I said, Posh, Dylan, if you want to head your Chelada, go Go get you one. If you don't like it, drink it till you're right. We'll see y'all next week when we talk about the Salem witch trials.
See ya.